everybody, this is Mariah with Second Wind Homestead, and today I'm going to show you how we make our kombucha. Things you're going to need: you need a jar, whatever size you want to make your kombucha in. This is a gallon jar that I use. I do have a temperature strip down the side. I bought it when I first started making kombucha just to make sure my temperature stayed in a decent range. You'll need a SCOBY with some starter kombucha. Ask a friend. Look online. You can also order them online if you cannot find them from anybody else. Tea bags, black tea, 100% black tea, whatever variety, brand you want. You need at least 8. We prefer our kombucha a little stronger, so I use 10 tea bags. You need a cloth of some sort to cover your jar while it's brewing. I use cloth and a rubber band. Water, sugar. Do not, we're city tap water. We cannot use our tap water because of the chlorine in it. I usually just buy a gallon jug of distilled or spring water, whatever I can get my hands on at the time. Let's get started. First thing I need to do, I'm going to get my tea kettle. I'm going to go ahead and heat up some water for brewing the tea and dissolving the sugar. You don't need the whole gallon. You only want to do part of it so that you can get it to cool down faster and get started putting your SCOBY in. Your SCOBY cannot go in when it's boiling hot. I'm just going to turn it on to high and be back when it's boiling. We're waiting on our water to come up to a boil. We're going to go ahead and get it prepped. So I'll move my SCOBY to the back. I have another 4-cup measuring cup here. I'm going to put 1 cup of sugar in my jar. This is a 1/4 cup, so I'm going to do 4 of those. I'm using cane sugar. Use whatever sugar you're comfortable with. Alright. Sugar's out of the way. And then in my 4 cup, I'm going to put my tea bags. I like to do it in 2 splits so it cools a little faster, and I'm not trying to brew tea in really thick, sweet, sugary water. So I can hear my tea kettle is at a boil even though we're not whistling yet. So we're going to pull it off the heat. We're going to put about half or just enough to dissolve that sugar in that jar, and the other half is going to go over my tea bags as I make a mess on my kitchen counters for the who knows how many time. Alright, so tea bags. This is my way of stirring. No spoons required. I just give it some good swishes until most of the sugar is dissolved. It doesn't have to all be totally dissolved because it'll dissolve as it sits there and brews, but I can get most of it dissolved. And I just check. Almost there. And just swirl it around. Alright, now all you have to do, you just need to sit and you need to let this come all the way to room temperature. You cannot put the SCOBY in unless it's room temperature. You will kill it. So, we will be back in a little while, probably 45 minutes, an hour-ish, depending on temperature in your house. If need be, stick it over by a cooler area, bring it back so it cools faster. See you back in a little bit. About an hour and a half or so. These feel fairly cool to the touch. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to pull my tea bags out. Once again, really clean hands. Just going to squeeze some liquid out of them. Into the compost they go. I'm going to mix my tea with my sugar water.
Hey Daddy, Minnie watching.
You do, you're highfalutin here. Stirring. Alright, then I'm going to add some additional water to bring it most of the way up my jar. This will also help cool it down further because this has been room temp. Alright, so if in doubt, let's just gently stir it a little bit. If in doubt, I'm going to check my temperature. I am at right at the upper edge, but that should be fine. I'm at like 76 degrees. That should be fine for it. Alright, next thing you want to do, your SCOBY with your extra kombucha, plain old kombucha. Once again, I'm just going to pick it up. I'm going to pour the extra kombucha in there. And then I'm just going to gently set my SCOBY on top. And that is all there is to it. Then, just going to cover it up. This will keep out dust, bugs, anything like that. Those little fruit fly, gnat looking things love kombucha. If you ever need to trap some, little dish of them. Kombucha with no lid on it. That is all there is to it. My SCOBY is floating. A lot of times mine will sink to the bottom and then in a day or two it'll rise back up. Perfectly fine. That is all it is. You want to put it in a dark spot, protected from light. About 6 to 10 days for fermentation, depending on warmth of your room, etc. You want to keep it between 70 to 75 degrees is ideal Fahrenheit. You can test it starting at 6 days. It should still be a little tiny bit sweet and a little bit vinegary. And depending on how strong or not strong you like it, when it gets to the point where you think you like that flavor, that's when you stop and you will do the second fermentation. So we'll see you back in about a week. Okay, our kombucha has been brewing for, let's see, it's about 9 days, so 7 to 10 days on it. And mine is smelling about where I would like it. I got a good SCOBY on the top there. So time to rebottle it for our second ferment, where you add your flavoring, whatever kind you'd like. So I'm just going to simply pull my SCOBY out. Clean hands. You can use tongs if this grosses you out. But you got a nice, good, thick SCOBY. Here was our original. We got a nice, good, thick SCOBY. And then you want to add about a cup and a half, 2 cups of your kombucha so you have it when you brew the next batch. It helps with pH and give you something nice to start your SCOBY off with. So let's see, a little bit more. Alright, that should be good enough for now. I'll put him off to the side for later, for the next batch. Alright, I have here my bottles. I believe they're called Grotch style. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It's simple, they sit down and they slop down. Second ferment, you want a closed container so it can build up that carbon dioxide and make it fizzy like you want. Just a funnel. I have here some ginger that we grew in the garden last year. So it's organic, it smells wonderful. I just have it gone ahead and chopped it up, peeled and chopped it, and get it going small enough I can fit it through the mouth of the bottle. And then it's a simple, let's see, juice. Today I'm going to use mango passion fruit. You want 100% juice. You can use whole fruit, pureed fruit, whatever works for you. I've discovered with these bottles and us, juice works best. I don't have to try and get solids or anything out of the bottle when I'm done. And I use, let's see, about a half a cup, I think. I ball it on the bottles now, so let me measure for y'all. So yeah, right about a half cup per bottle of my juice. And then I pour kombucha in probably till it reaches right about the neck of the bottle here, and that gives it enough space to help build some pressure, but not so much that you're flinging these off when you try and open them. Got a little piece of something in there. Let's see. Oh, he ran away again. I'll find it in a minute. Alright, so that bottle is good. Just going to seal it. Just push the lid flat and latch that down. You can go to the side and we work on our next one. So some ginger, which doesn't always want to go through the funnel. Half a cup of juice. You can find these bottles. We have a local brew store that has all kinds of supplies for brewing, like look, I can't talk today. Beer and wine. He had all kinds of different bottling options. You can certainly use something else. This just works for us. Might only get 3 bottles today. Seal it. Over. Alright, bottle number 3. Put some ginger in there. Half a cup of juice. And your kombucha. It's just about perfect today. Alright. That is all there is to it for second ferment. You just set these in a spot that's not going to be in your way. Probably about 3 days, depending on how warm wherever the spot you put it is. Winter, ours take about 4 to 5 days. Summer, we're 2 to 3 days max. You can open one, taste it, see if it's where you like it. If it's not as strong as you want, just recap it and let it sit a little longer. I didn't need my extra bottle today. That is all there is to it for second ferment. So we'll check back on these in about 3 days and see where they're at. It has sat for 3 days on the counter to do its second ferment. At this point, what I do, I stick it in the fridge, I let it get really cold. Then I pull one of them out and try it to see if it's where I want it to be. If it's not quite strong enough or sour, as I would like it, then it can come back out on the counter for another day. When you go to open one, even when it's really cold, be careful, they are under pressure. We've had some of these like fly across the kitchen like a champagne cork, so here goes. Do not aim at your face. Ah, just a little pop out of that one. So now, you can just pour a little. See how you like it. It's beautiful color on this batch. That's pretty good. I like it right there. So since it's good, all we do, you just store it in the fridge, drink right out of there. You can get some little scobies in the top. I don't know if that's going to show up in there. You can simply just fish them out with a spoon or pour through a little strainer or something. If you think it's going to gross you or the kids or whatever out. Thank y'all for watching. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when we have a new video out. Night.